Here we go. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Sparko Gaming SuperCars NZ. This is Doug and I'm joined in the broadcasting lounge once again by the one and only Shane White. How we going, Shane?
Yeah, real good, thanks Doug. Excited to be here at a classic Formula One circuit at Indianapolis in the US state of Indiana. So should be very cool to see how these V8 supercars tackle this track tonight.
Yeah, certainly an awesome thing. We've been here for a wee bit watching the practice unfold, and it has been a bit of a mixed bag of people's enjoyment, you would say, hasn't it been?
Yeah, some people very much enjoying the track, others struggling a little bit with it, and yeah, we'll see how it all pans out when they get into the race.
Yeah, and is there any particular area of the track that the drivers are finding most challenging, would you say, or areas of interest that are going to be some good passing opportunity corners to watch?
That high-speed chicane onto the back straight is always a tricky spot to get right. You want to cut plenty of the curb to carry the speed through there, but at the same time being wary of picking up an off-track and potentially a slowdown. As far as passing opportunities, probably the following corner is a good one there. Coming off the back straight, a nice hard stop into a nice tight left-hander, and also at the end of the front straight, you got another big stop into a 90-degree right-hander.
Yeah. Yep, so both of those coming down the home straight, obviously round off that big banking corner, and then that other straightaway that we can see just at the top there through that little chicane section, which is a portion of the track which can trip people up, isn't it? Because it's got a bit of a wide runoff, but it's got quite a nasty curb on the inside, and if you catch it wrong, you could be turning around facing the other way. So couple of areas that we will be watching tonight, or hopefully not for too many of the comedy type reasons, but hopefully for some hard, clean, fun racing.
Yeah, should be good to see. I'm really looking forward to it.
There we go. So a couple of minutes left with the qualifying to run, unless they've got a limitation on how many laps they can do. Have they possibly got a 10 lap limit as well?
There probably will be a limit of some sort, just given that there's going to be heat races tonight, and yes, that is 10 laps, so 10 minutes, but once they've completed 10 laps, they will be cut short there, but I think, being that it's a minute 26 for a lap, and their out lap isn't counted in that 10 laps, I think they should be okay there.
There we go. So there was just a quick view there of the cars on screen at the moment going over that wee pop chicane as they roll in down through the back straight or the infield. At the moment we have Daniel Nolan leading the field at 126.1 over Leon Weir, and I'll take a quick glance at Leon on track if he's out and about. So Leon's actually our race week sponsor this week, and for the life of me, even though I had his logo sitting on there before, has somewhere vanished, so I'll bring that up. But Leon with Access Man, he's our race week sponsor, so we're truly grateful for him. And he's come on board this season as a first time racer in the series, and he's certainly putting a few of our more seasoned drivers in their place by hitting them with some pace.
Yes, and in P2 on this field, as a new driver, that's very impressive form early on in his SuperCars NZ career, so great to see Leon doing so well, and cheers Leon for coming on as a weekly sponsor as well.
Yes, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Leon making some further gains as he gets more and more familiar with the car week after week, and he could definitely find himself racing up with the Div 1 boys.
Yes, qualifying comes to an end. Of course, heat racing means that once time runs out, that's it. You don't get to finish your lap.
That's a massive logo. Woohoo!
Can you read that at home?
There we go. That's somewhat a bit better.
So the car's starting to line up on the grid now. A few gaps out there at the moment. They've still got about a minute and a quarter to get out there, and that time will all be used up because it will be waiting for you and I to grid as well, Doug. So
Yes. So, last couple of cars popping onto the grid now, and up the front of the field we have Daniel Nolan sitting in P1 with Peter Vanderberg behind him in P2. Leon Weir taking out third spot over Scott McKenzie there in fourth. Stefan Adams in fifth over Derek Lovegrove in sixth. Jason Mayer rounding out number 7 with Steve Darren there in eighth. Bill Kilger inside the top 10. Should be some good fun racing between Steve and Bill there tonight. And Cole Buchan rounding out our top 10. Going down the rest of the order quickly is Trent Bennett in 11th, Mike Limbrick 12, Ed Bacon in 13, Simon Willis in 14th, Daniel Johnson there in 15th, Jared Eccleston down in 16th. We'll probably see him make some ground tonight. Marty Mitchell 17th. Ross Watson finally now on the grid in 18th over Andrew Johnson, Rob Higgins, Sam Apps, Carl Rankin and Jake O'Rourke. We pop back up to the front just in time to watch the green flag drop.
yeah, and Peter gets a flyer. Daniel's dropping back from pole. He got massive wheel spin. Peter out front from Stephen Adams now. And Scott McKenzie challenging on the inside of Jared Eccleston, shooting off to the right into the wall. Looked like he was going to bounce back across the pack, but he managed to get that up and keep it off track. So, Derek Lovegrove there getting involved in a little bit of drama there as well. A couple of cars going off to get around him, but looks like most guys negotiating that fairly okay.
Now everyone seems to be slinking into somewhat a bit of order. We'll go back and have a look at that all a bit soon. Peter Vanderberg leading over Stefan Adams, who managed to have a ripper of a start, making up 3 spots. Daniel Nolan and Leon Weir both dropping down the order majorly there. So Leon dropping down into 5th spot, down 2, and Daniel Nolan just behind him, dropping 5 spots back to 6th there. Scott McKenzie up 1 spot currently into 3rd. And Steve Darren up 4 grid spots, also respectively now in 4th spot.
Yeah, so Daniel went absolutely nowhere off the line, just spun up the wheels and got swallowed up by the pack. I didn't quite see what happened to Leon, but yeah, Peter taking the opportunity to get out front. Scott was looking racy on Stephen Adams down into turn 1, but it looks as though he thought better of it, and looks like Stephen's got the pace at the moment and pulling away from Scott and starting to put pressure on Peter Vanderberg for the lead.
Certainly has, definitely looking like that is the case, as we see Steve Darren just running a little bit wide there in the background. He's probably going to be at risk of being passed by Leon Weir quite quickly if he keeps doing that kind of stuff. We'll just stay on board here just for a minute and see if we might be able to catch some cool racing.
You're just feeling corny tonight, Doug.
Absolutely, as you can see there on the back of Leon's car. I won't repeat it on the stream, but if you've got your eyeballs switched on, you'll be able to read that. It's quite fairly similar to this rather awesome looking image here on the front.
So Leon putting pressure on Steve Darren in front of him, and there's the I car there, and Steve going quite tight into that left-hander there. Leon opening it up a bit more. That might give him the run out onto the front straight. Still a few car lengths between them at the moment though, so he's going to have to pick up a good draft down here to get close. And I'd say at this point he's probably just a bit too far back to have a lunge down at turn 1. And just stays tucked in behind.
He's got Daniel Nolan floating all over the back of him. You can hear those tyres working ever so hard to try and get themselves around the track nicely at the moment. Stefan Adams and Peter Vanderberg very close to each other up the front there as well.
He's got the run, he's having a look. Brings it down the inside, Steve gives him space. There was a bit of contact as he just locked up and ran a bit wide. They both went off the track and I would... more contact there as well.
Not a good start for Heat 1 for Daniel Nolan as he falls further down the grid order there.
Yes, you can see the damage on the front right corner of Daniel's car, and I think it looked like he was probably... Well, actually he's already dropped behind Steve Darren again anyway, but I think he was looking to redress with that when the second contact took place with... I'm not sure who that was.
With Leon and Steve, or then with Leon and Daniel?
Was it Daniel, was it?
Well, Steve then I think had a bump with Trent Bennett there briefly. There was the next car in line between the two of them. So, but we have another eight laps to run. And we might see a few cars walking towards pit lane. Yep, so we've got Ross Watson there and Daniel Nolan in the pits. Jared Eccleston has not gone much further than there. He's been sitting in the pits there for quite a while. Jared, after the start there, he's been in the pits there for just over 3 minutes. And not looking to be taking it any further.
Yes, he might have decided to sit the rest of this one out and come back for race 2. Certainly didn't start very well for him. He didn't quite see what happened to him, but he certainly went stage right very quickly there.
Sure did. At the moment, Peter Vanderberg, man on a mission, doing just enough to keep this man here in second place, just back there at the moment. Stefan just letting him know, I am here. I am very much here. And for Stefan, sitting back here at the moment, be putting on the pressure. It's Peter's opportunity to make a mistake. And for Stefan to clean up any small errors that he may make. Once again, showing that nose.
I've just gone back and had a look at some of the footage from the start, and it looks as though Jared had a bit of side-by-side contact with Ross Watson. Just a little bit unfortunate. Both cars looking for space at the start and just making that side-by-side contact.
There we go. So there we go. So that's one lot of battle pack happening there, and I think Peter's had a bit of an average run out of that final corner, and he's just holding a slightly shallow line coming down the main straight up towards turn 1. Putting the car back onto the racing line before going into there, because it's certainly not a corner that you can get away with having a very shallow entry point and escaping well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see Stefan hasn't dived to the pits as yet. He's certainly looking like he's got pace over Peter, and an undercut strategy potentially could work quite well, but he hasn't
Yeah.
taken that opportunity just yet as we approach the halfway mark.
Yes, I was surprised at as well. I'd wondered if Stefan might have taken the opportunity to go in that lap before. So at the moment we have some other close racing taking place, which was Cole Buchan and Steve Darren. Cole just managing to get by Steve. Sam Apps is doing a good run at the moment, following around Carl Rankin. Both those guys up a good number of positions, as some of our leading cars have already come through and done their pit stops. Fortune favours the brave, so I'd say. So these guys sticking it out a little bit longer may find themselves avoiding some other dramas from the other cars coming out of sequence. Carl Rankin, something quite odd happened to him there. I wonder if he's had some gear failure, because he went shortcut through one bit. Bit odd. This is where the heat of the action is at the moment, as they've gone round again, these two, still not taking the opportunity to take their pit stops just yet. While a few more cars come in there now. We've got Rob Higgins with Jake O'Rourke and Andrew Johnson all taking the opportunity to get their pit stop in. So that's just over half the field now having served that pit stop strategy. And we'll make a wee quick comment about this, because I see Scott's noticed it at home. Mr. Pickering has joined us there on the interwebs. G'day there, Scott. Yes, Steve Darren is racing a real car, I see. I'm not too sure whether or not it's a real car, because I think they had to do some excessive body work to be able to get it to fit over the chassis. So I'm not even too sure if you can actually call it a Ford Mustang, some sort of weird version of a limousine, in my opinion. But yeah, no, it's got some good STI colours on there, sporting the home business, and probably some very good work that you've put together there, Scotty. So another nice looking car out there. It's just a shame for Shane and I to say it's just on the wrong shaped body for tonight.
Yeah, very much so.
Lap
So
8
it
of 12.
Looks like Stefan has taken the opportunity to try and trigger an undercut on Peter Vanderberg there, so we'll see if Peter covers that off next time around.
Yeah, but a bit of congestion there in the pit lane as well, so we'll see Stefan just get underway there now, but he's managed to break clear of Scott McKenzie, who followed him through. Stefan doing a good job of getting his stop in a very respectful time, at 9.45 for his pit stop, and the next closest person to him, actually on identical times, was Derek Lovegrove and Jake O'Rourke, both on 9.43s. Everyone else just doing some mid and high 10-second pit stops. So Stefan now going out, be wanting to put the pace on without hurting those tyres, as we see this man here, P1, Peter Vanderberg, rolling in through pit lane now. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see when he drops.
Stefan's just had a bit of a moment coming off the back straight through turn 7. That could hurt him. He just looked like he took too much of that curb at turn 7 and unsettled the car and had to wait an age to get back on the throttle.
It's a shame I had no data come up on that one, or else I'd be able to have a look at a replay there of that. No off track or anything, so that might be the decider there for him. Peter Vanderberg up, getting a little splash of gas. Stefan Adams coming around the back corner. He's rolling on through. I reckon he's well and truly got that under control. So here we go. Now for Peter just to keep concentrated and not do anything silly with his tyres
It'll be tight,
or exit pit lane by fault going across the blue line.
Stefan's got those tyres up to temperature already. This is his moment. He has a look down the inside. Base given, but not quite anywhere for Stefan to go with it. He just had to back out of it.
I
had
would
the momentum.
I would be very, very uncertain if
Peters let him go. Peters let him go.
He did. I'm wondering if Peters, something's happened with Peter.
He's got a drama. He's got a drama of some sort
pit lane.
He's got something going on. He's slowed up and let Leon Weir go as well. I wonder if you're right, if he's got a black flag sitting there and just knowing that he's going to have to remove himself from that battle, just didn't want to hold anybody up. We'll see if he takes the pit lane at the end of this lap.
So Leon Weir now been gifted a nice little position there, up one spot from where he qualified into now P2.
And yes, Peter is coming to the lane, so it looks like he's going to be serving a drive-through penalty, or it might even be a stop and hold, unfortunately. So
yes, I just wondered if he just got a bit greedy when he was trying to leave pit lane and just floated outside of the pit exit painted line. It just looked a wee bit greedy in my opinion. So yes, he's probably picked up an unsafe pit exit, which you would probably have having a good guess and seeing where he's positioned at the moment, probably having to do a stop and hold.
Yeah, I think it's a stop and hold for any pit lane infringement, which is unfortunate because if you pick that up on the way in, it's a 40-second penalty, although it is a very brief stop that it's given him there. I wonder if he didn't get enough fuel in it. Because I would have expected it to be a longer hold than that for an unsafe pit exit, but maybe, I think sometimes it does adjust it if it recognises that you're having to take an extra stop to do that, so. Yeah, not quite sure there, but disappointing for Peter, and it's gifted the lead to Stefan Adams, but Leon Weir not too far behind him.
Certainly indeed. We'll jump back and have a look at last couple of laps with these two here. I'm just replying to a message that Stonesy's sent to me, and you may be able to clarify because I haven't got the chat turned on. He was asking why his black flags were not cleared, that he'd got pushed into the pit lane. So I'm not too sure if you remember anything from the start of the race of that happening, or seeing anything on screen, but unfortunately we don't really control that aspect of the racing as far as clearing blacks and bits and pieces like that. We just let iRacing do that thing. So if there was an issue with another driver, you feel free, more than welcome to report that later to the race control guys. Even though they're not here in this race, they still go and review any footage, so if there was something untoward they can certainly look at that. So our apologies for that one, Stonesy. Hopefully you'll jump back in for the next race.
Yeah, unfortunately, given that we're controlling the broadcast, unfortunately with no race control in the second split, there's not really the possibility of having anyone look at those incidents to determine what's gone on and clear those black flags. As Leon's just given them all the rub on the exit of the final corner there, that's probably going to give Stefan a bit of a break as he starts the final lap.
Yeah, we'll see if it's done enough to slow Leon up and make the car a little bit unbalanced. So we'll keep an eye on Scott McKenzie and the distance between those two as they come through on this lap. Close battle here, Cole Buchan and Rob Higgins coming into the final corner for them. Cole hunting Rob across the line. He might look at taking a dive towards the inside if he's close enough to do that.
I think Leon's just maybe adjusted the left rear toe on his Commodore, because it looked as though he was struggling a lot coming through the fast chicane. He had a big wobble there, and it does look to be quite unsettled at the rear at the moment.
It is certainly hurting for sure. Just watch it as it wiggles a little bit under brakes there as well. Active camera on that, not sitting stationary enough to be able to pick up the small movements, but he'll certainly be having a fun time getting this car out and across the line as see it bag up coming out onto the final race apron there. Well done, Stefan. That's a well-deserved P1 for you. Leon Ware rounding out P2. And Scott McKenzie taking out third spot. Awesome racing by those guys. Trent Bennett appears to... I think he was just hauling up the brakes on that one. So the 069, Trent Bennett, up 7 spots, taking out 4th over Jason Mayer there in 5th. Bill Kilger keeping it nice and clean, up 3 spots from where he started to finish 6th. Derek Lovegrove finishing down just 1 spot. Ed Bacon, great race from him, finishing 5 spots ahead to finish in 8th over Daniel Johnson in 9th and Daniel Nolan there in 10. So quite a bit of a mixture of a change-up of people through that race. A few people up and down. Carl Rankin moving up forward another nice few spots from the back. Andrew Johnson up too. Peter Vanderberg, the unfortunate one for tonight. Thought he had it in the bag, but finishing down 16 grid spots there to round out the 18th number in the field. So yeah, the guys now have got 6 minutes of reprieve or practice to try and dial in before they walk into the feature race tonight, which will be how many laps for these guys?
Feature race will be 20 laps.
Well, there you go. So from 12 to 20. That's definitely an adjustment. And for the guys that ran a little bit longer in that first stint on those tyres, they'll know how the car is feeling and behaving a little bit closer to that. And the ones that opted to lap at pit 6 halfway through, pit at lap 6 halfway through, they might find themselves struggling a little bit if they were maximising and asking as much as they could for the tyres for those first 6 there.
I think we can forgive your little misspeak there, Doug, considering you got Trent Bennett's name right tonight.
Did I?
Well, you have so far.
Oh, good.
Looks like Leon Ware out there doing some practice starts or maybe just some burnouts. He did struggle getting off the line in that first race, so it does look like he's just doing a few practice starts trying to get that process correct. Really bogging down massively there. That was not a good start at all.
Yes, so with the start of his last race proving to be the same, he'll be wanting to see what he can do differently to get that car off the line.
Just not working for him. We might want to try a clutch start maybe. Looks as though the method of start he's using is with auto blip turned on. He's holding it on the brake and revving the engine up with his right foot, which he should be able to just hold the throttle at full throttle and just release the brake, and it should take off quite nicely. But he doesn't seem to be able to make that work for him at the moment.
Back to pit lane, have a think about what he's doing. Maybe jump out again in another minute and try something different. What else we got floating out there? Steve Darren. It's quite a hard corner coming onto that final corner there, isn't it? You get elements of understeer and oversteer all happening at the same time.
Yeah, that's just in a GT3 car, so you can imagine how hard it is in these cars.
Yes, yeah, and again, the number one reason why where I am tonight, and why I'm not out there trying to race with them.
Steve picks up bucket loads of understeer there at turn 4.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. I'm just going to quickly grab Leon and drag him up. G'day Leon, I've just dragged you up into the broadcasting lounge here, mate. We just saw you trying to do some average pit lane, some race start procedures there. But other than that, we just wanted to quickly say thank you for coming on board as our race week sponsor with Access Men.
You are most very welcome, kind sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So, anything you want to quickly sell to the people at home? They've got some feijoa trees that need topping. If you got something in the market for them?
Basically, all you need to know, mate, is if you want to get high, I'm your guy. No more needed to say. That's pretty much it. But I would like to take this small amount of time to wholeheartedly apologise to Steve Darren for absolutely horrendous dive bomb I just did on him in the last race.
We weren't going to talk about it, but seeing that you've brought it up,
I had to.
It looked like you were close to making it, and it was just unfortunate you'd pinched that outside right front tyre is just trying to turn in.
Definitely.
But yeah, so did you? Obviously, you apologised straight away over the radio to Steve.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, he didn't deserve that manoeuvre. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and that's all we expect here at SuperCars NZ, and it's a long written song that we've always been singing. You're here to race, and we want people to give it a go. If it doesn't work out, just apologise for it. And most people are pretty understanding that when the racing's on, but it does it hits you hard in the guts. You still feel like you've made a mare of it. So well done for doing the right thing, and hopefully when you tow them up towards the front of this next race, you might be able to let them slip by there towards the end, because I know you're a good bugger.
Well, I think that would only be fair, letting Steve slip by.
Anyway, I'll throw you back downstairs with the other gents, mate, and good luck for the next race. Hopefully all goes well.
The last one anyway.
I'm not going to even bother watching you.
Watch someone else, please. It'd be great.
Have a good one, mate.
Have fun.
See ya. So there you go. If you want to, it was sort of a bit of a funny play on words, wasn't it? You said something about if you want to get high, I'm your guy.
Yeah. I was thinking that could be taken two ways, but he seems to think that's pretty clear, so...
Yeah, I think his is probably more legitimately that if you're actually wanting to get up somewhere high, that he's the guy you want to see, as opposed to the other one where you might be wanting to talk to that number 49 driver.
The lights coming on.
Green flag.
And they're away, and Leon bogging down again and getting swallowed up. Stefan getting a good start.
So it's going to be 5 wide for turn 1. I thought, who's that? Big moment.
Oh,
Rob Higgins. I don't know how everyone else got past him.
yeah,
I just saw
that
him
was
full left hand down through everyone and then rolled back through everyone again.
Yeah, everybody obviously checking up and reacting to the incident in front and taking the time to get through that. So, very well done.
Wow.
But unfortunate for Rob to have that big moment and drop all the way to the back.
Scott McKenzie and Trent Bennett, teammates there, having a flyer with each other, with Jason Mayer sitting in behind them from Skeleton Sim Sports. Stefan managing just to shake his leg and get ahead of Leon there. Bill Kilger just sitting at the back of this thinking, oh my gosh, what are these guys up to? Cole Buchan on a warpath, up 4 grid spots already. Oh, as I see Sam App's name is falling down the grid order there, and he's parked it, so he's had a moment as well. Again, it looks like everyone else managed to get away cleanly. Limbrick's pulled to the pits. Gerald Eccleston back out here in this race, starting from, must have been P23. Oh, Carl Rankin straight away into the pits, so he might have picked up some damage there through that. It's going to be a long haul if he decides to try and grab some tyres now and work it through to the end.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had massive amounts of damage there, so quite surprised to see him in so early, even if he did have a little bit of damage. Normally, as long as it's still reasonably drivable, you'd look to nurse that to a point where it's a bit more manageable to get the second set of tyres to the end.
Exactly.
Derek Lovegrove with the beautiful chrome kiwi on the side of his car in a bit of a battle here with Cole Buchan in front and Daniel Nolan behind.
Yeah, two very fast races, and himself equally quick, but caught in the middle of quite a pacey sandwich. As we have a quick glance off the back of his car, you see Daniel Nolan sitting very close to him there. Daniel's car fighting a little bit for grip coming out through that final corner, not ending in a run where he was able to stay very close.
Jason Mayer having a look on the inside of Trent Bennett.
Seems to be
in the new Skeleton Sim Sports livery there tonight. Brand new livery for those guys. That was created by Adam Rubich. Oh!
Well held,
and average.
That was a very unfortunate bit of driving there from Trent Bennett. So
yeah, so that new Skeleton livery designed by Adam Marinovich, and Skeleton actually had 3 of their members design a livery, and then they voted on which was the best one, and this was the one that won that vote. So.
So, well, let's get a little bit closer to it. Nice wee message there on the back of the car. It ain't weak to speak. So nice bit of message there. And what do we got happening around here apart from a bit of a crunkle on the front? Some very cool colours.
Yeah, very well done. And I think if you can get a good shot of the side of it, I think in the PR in the week, I think that's where it really stood out for me. Hard to see it at speed, but he has got a very cool graphic on the side of the car there, tying into the Skeleton Sim Sports name. It's sort of almost a skeleton sort of design on the back of it there.
Certainly looks cool.
Almost kind of a Ghost Rider sort of design, actually.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking that as well. If you want to get a really good close view of it, get yourself a racing simulator, sign yourself up to iRacing, and come and join us, SuperCars NZ. We take anyone and everyone, usually only New Zealanders, but we've allowed some Aussies to creep in through the back door.
At one point we even allowed a Welshman and an Irishman to join us.
Yeah, they didn't stick around too long.
They never do.
Must have been too early in the morning for them to be joining us. But yeah, awesome bit of racing. So, got Ross Watson here, along with Ed Bacon and Peter Vanderberg on track, 9th, 10th and 11th. Peter Vanderberg wanting to recover some more lost positions, but he's certainly not doing it on the end of that straight away, as Ross managed to fire it down past Ed. Pete's managed to get by Ed as well, but then just run himself out wide over there. Steve Darren locking onto the back of this as well.
Looks like Steve Darren's had a bit of action in this race, scuffed up the STI signage down the side of the car there.
Yes, not on that side though.
Right hand side's looking about as beautiful as it can for a Mustang. The left hand side's looking a bit average.
It's about as much as what you'd expect from a Mustang. Brad Taylor at home, he's joined in and he's cheering on Ed Bacon. He said, "Come on, Ed." So Ed's sitting in 12th, down 4 grid spots at the moment, but still a long race to go. 14 laps left of this race, and Ed's teammate Simon sitting just in behind him. And some very cool looking colour schemes on both of those cars as well. And tying up the rest of the team, I can see Jake O'Rourke in the MX Wraps Mustang as well. Just getting rounded up by Derek Lovegrove there. Ed letting Simon creep by as well. Ed just doing his thing and pacing himself around. Carl Rankin's had a moment and towed to the pit, so I'll have a quick squiz at that. He just got caught out by that curb that I said at the start of the race that might catch some people out.
Yeah, and then the big tank slapper off the back of that, sending him into the wall on the left hand side.
Has indeed. Majority of the people haven't taken any pit stops yet, so we're now at lap 7 of 20. So, like I said before, a lot of those guys that only did 6 laps on those tyres and had asked a lot of them are now having to try and ask a little bit more. So we see Jared Eccleston there make a nice clean move on Ed Bacon too.
Yeah, and we are getting into sort of that zone where you might be thinking about the undercut if you're getting held up a little bit by some traffic in front. You might think, get in now, get some fresh tyres on, get some clean air, and see if I can jump this guy through the pit stop.
So,
don't think Stephen Adams is going to be thinking anything like that though. He's 2 seconds out in front.
Yep, he certainly is. He's certainly managed to pull away from this guy here. So Leon doing just enough to stay ahead of Scott McKenzie following him. I would say Scott would be one who may want to try and shake things up a little bit. I reckon he's certainly got the pace to possibly look at, you know, pulling Leon in. But it's just whether or not he wants to sacrifice that end of tyre by coming out with some fresh ones and getting a bit of a closure on that gap at the moment. Daniel Nolan and Bill Kilger here in P4 and 5.
Yeah, Bill's certainly looking fairly racy at the moment, although I think Daniel might have just found his way around Bill, but sitting up there P5, just half a second behind Daniel, and
yes, I've
with him
actually
at the moment.
got that pass here, Daniel Nolan passing Bill. We'll have a quick squiz at that. Great run out of that final exit corner. Right alongside beside, nose in front. No question about it. That's a nice pass any day.
All Bill just keeping the nose there into turn 2 though, but
yep,
eventually just giving it up.
And that's what I think we all, that's what we all really love about racing with Bill, is he's out there to race, and what you think might be an easy pass, it certainly never is. You give each other racing room, and you can have a very cool, fun few corners with each other. But yeah, certainly don't expect that just because you've got past him, you can move across to what would be the conventional racing line, because you'll find yourself running into the side of a very solid Mr. Kilger, and he won't move.
Yeah, that's right, and he has every right to keep his nose there, and we saw there Daniel recognising that fact and just giving him enough space and ultimately carrying the momentum around the outside to hold on to the spot. But
Indeed.
Bill's certainly sticking with Daniel at this point, not being left behind by him by any means. He's still within a second of him, it's just stretching out to about 19th now.
Oh, there was I thought there was an off-the-track moment, but Trent Bennett there making a last-minute decision to come into the pit lane. Maybe he felt that he might be in a good position to get a run over Bill or Daniel. Cole following Trent into there, along with Jared Eccleston. Jake O'Rourke already sitting in there at the moment. He can't be too far away from getting back into it. Actually, no, Jake's going to be there for a while because he jumped to the pit lane.
Oh, and Stonesy just overshot and had to back up to his box there.
Probably just missed that.
I just saw him backing up as you cut away from the shot there.
Yeah, it certainly didn't help too much for his pit stop time, looking to be about a second and a half longer than some of the faster times in there at the moment. So Stefan Adams and Leon Ware doing a really good thing of following him in, as we have said in the past that sometimes it's better to follow the guy in front of you, because you can catch up quite a bit of space that you might not possibly make back on track. So this will be very interesting to see how these next few cars all exit through pit lane, seeing that there was probably about a good 6 to 8 seconds between each of those cars, wasn't there?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's got the fuel numbers right, who's started with just enough fuel to be able to cover that tyre stop time.
Wow, look at both those guys pretty much up in the stands at the same time.
And Stefan dropping about a second before Leon did. So perhaps Leon starting with slightly light on fuel, or maybe just not quite stopping in the box correctly there, where Stefan was able to get that pit stop done nice and efficiently and get away with a nice gap now.
Just in between Leon and Scott, Marty Mitchell there. He hasn't stopped just yet, so Scott will have a wee bit of work on his hand to try and get past another car. That margin between Stefan to Leon looking about as identical as what it was when it went in, which is quite surprising, really. I thought it might have come down a little bit closer than that. Bill's in for his stop now as well. One of the last few cars in the field left to take there is Bill, Ed and Sam, and Marty being the last cars. Ed's coming now also in the background. I'm genuinely interested to see where Bill pops up amongst those other guys. Stefan round the last corner, Leon round the last corner. Scott's there to be on this one here. Bill trying to get out of there in a hurry and leaving some licorice strips. And Daniel managing to get by him pretty nicely. And clear.
Leon's just had a bit of a moment at turn 1 going deep. I'm not sure it'll be enough to trigger any replay data for you there, unfortunately, but certainly went deep at turn 1 and lost a fair bit of time there, so that's allowed, as we do have a bit of replay data on here, just to lock up at turn 1. Oh, even going off the track, so even worse than I first thought when I caught a glimpse of that, and that has allowed Stefan to stretch the lead out to 4.5 seconds now.
I actually went back to the footage of Bill leaving pit lane and then changed to Leon's name, so it's just a wee bit of trickery to find that replay, but there we go. So that's why now there's a little bit more of a margin as we see him
locking is off again. And Scott nice and patient on the rejoin. Probably missed the chance to grab the spot there, but as he does squeeze through now, but he did the perfect thing of not rushing into that to try and grab the spot and just waited to understand exactly where Leon was going to go there.
Indeed.
Oh, and I'm seeing some data on Bill Kilger, and I've just heard an apology from him as well to Cole Buchan.
Yep, I see Bill there. Got Cole Buchan going off track and then Bill crashing, so we'll have a squiz at that in a second. I just wanted to sit on with these guys for a minute.
Yes, so Leon keen to find a way back ahead of Scott McKenzie. And Daniel sitting there looking to pick up the pieces. Leon having a look where he had a look on Bill last race. Doesn't get it right this time. He's down the inside. Bit of a lock, but gets it stopped. Oh no, Daniel Nolan exits stage left. Scott McKenzie looking to fight back on Leon. We've already seen Leon make a couple of mistakes that got that opportunity to get ahead in the first place. So Scott's going to continue putting the pressure on. This is coming up to one of the spots where he went a bit deep, and ultimately Scott was able to get ahead and taking plenty of curb there, Leon, but able to get it pulled up.
Yeah, I think Leon's definitely struggling with those rear tyres after that loss of traction earlier. You can see his car is not seeming to be sitting well.
Scott got the wall on the exit of the final corner there.
Ooh, not very well balanced at all. So let's have a quick look back here. So here's Bill's crash. That's Cole Buchan just in front of him.
Oh, he's had a look and... Ooh.
Okay.
That's an interesting one for me. I think on that view, I'd say he might have just about been there, might have been entitled to some space. This might tell us a bit more. Oh, it's certainly a late move. He's probably far enough up the inside at the point of contact, but I think just at that turn in, Cole probably wasn't quite aware he's there, so it's a hard one to call. Obviously, we don't have race control live in this race, so there won't be any penalties handed out in race. It'll be interesting to see if either party wants that looked at post-race.
Yeah. It's hard because they're two very varying racing lines as well. Cole obviously going for the more flowy route, which could, is essentially extending the race distance by having to cut out further to try and optimise the late apex and quicker run out, and Bill just going for more of a conventional straighter departure for that corner along here where we're on screen now, and just hugging that inside ripple strip. It's not to say either line is any better or worse, driver preference and just how the car's handling and not wanting to upset the balance too much. But yeah, be a very interesting call for someone to make. What else we got here? Trent Bennett showing as a crash as well.
Bones are going down the inside of Daniel Johnson there.
Yep. Getting by quite cleanly. Stonesy now up to P9, up 14 spots from where he started, so good recovery for the second race. And it's still happening there. And that's not really some part of the racetrack. Well, it is, but it's not the part you want to be on.
And it was going the wrong way.
Is he
quite sure what's
trying
going on there, Trent.
to find the hot dog stand?
Well, he's out there on the oval at the moment. He's done a full 360 to get back onto the oval.
I reckon his cat's killed him and is now taken over control of the simulator. It heard me.
Clearly Trent Bennett's cat needs to take some lessons from Shane Van Gisbergen's cat.
Yeah. How bizarre. And Trent's still there in pit lane, I can see from the data. This man here looking likely to do it back to back. Won't disrupt him too soon. 4 laps to go, 7 seconds clear of P2 Leon Weir. It finally looks like he's got his car settled. Scott McKenzie not wanting to have a look at whatever Trent was trying to look at before. Keeping it on the conventional racing track circuit. Daniel Nolan there in P4 with the awesome recovery drive of Peter Vanderberg after the first race drama. Up 13 grid spots into P5. Rob Higgins out there possibly a few laps down, just getting out of the way for these guys here at the front. These two have almost been glued to each other through both races, Derek Lovegrove and Cole Buchan. Bit of side-by-side action for Ross Watson and Bill Kilger there. And Bill actually passing Ross. Have a quick squiz at that. Oh!
Ross having a big moment off that right-hander there at turn 12, and Bill able to get down the inside at 13, and then side by side through 14, and eventually Ross just conceding the place there.
Yeah, and see Bill still running that that same line through that section of track that he had that wee issue, that wee door-to-door with Cole before.
Daniel Nolan defending from Peter Vanderberg at the moment, fighting for P4.
Yeah, Peter will be wanting to capitalise as many points as he can for the second race, because he was looking pretty healthy in the overall point standing for the championship. I believe Jared Eccleston and Leon all sitting up there pretty close at the top of their division. Maybe Stefan Adams up there as well. I could just be saying names, you'd never know.
You could be. I'd probably just have to take your word for it as well, because as much as I see Sean put the post up, I can't say I've registered which names are actually up there.
Oh, it's close, it's close, it's close. I'm gonna leave it like this for a minute. You could almost be tempted into giving us a lap.
I suppose I possibly could be. So coming out onto the straight now, crossing the bricks to start the lap, tuck it into the slipstream of Daniel Nolan in front of the right on board with Peter Vanderberg, getting on the brake, down to second gear, just clipping that curb on the inside. Daniel ran a bit wide and missed the curb altogether. Pulling gears through the right hander at turn 3, up into third gear, back down to second gear, taking a tighter entry, and Daniel just chopping the nose off a little bit to make sure he shut that door. Patient with the throttle through the fast chicane, and he got a little bit loose and had to come right out of it. And you can see the momentum that's given Daniel as he's been able to open a bit of a gap there. Just hitting sixth gear before he gets back on the brakes to come down to second. And then just coming off the throttle through 8 and 9 and then into 10. Easing the throttle down nice and cleanly, pulling gears now, 4th gear, 5th gear, all the way through the long turn 11. On the brakes again, back down to second gear for turn 12, the right hander, and then across to the right to open up turn 13. Take plenty of curb, it's nice and flat there so you can run right across it, and then patient with the throttle all the way through the long right hand turn 14. And pulling gears, 5th gear, 6th gear as it completes the lap at Indianapolis.
Yeah, certainly. It's certainly a quick lap and a handful coming around here. As you were doing the pace notes of that lap, I was reminded of our times during the GT3 racing here, and as soon as seeing that onboard shot, I was quickly reminded of the struggles that I encountered the last time I was here in a GT3 car. Cool track, very, very fun track. Good one for getting close and taking some passes, but also very challenging with a few of those corners being just slightly off camber and lulling you into thinking you can get round it a wee bit faster, and in truth you just end up rotating and doing silly things on the grass and wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, that's right, as Stefan's just coming through the final sequence of corners now on the final lap, so he's about to come across and take the flag.
There he goes, and happy he should be, because that is a awesome one, very, very awesome one. Leon Weir taking out P2, very healthy 6 seconds behind him. And Scott McKenzie, so no change for P1, 2 and 3 from their starting positions. Taking that one home for the final step on the podium. Daniel Nolan and Peter Vanderberg drag race down towards the end, and nothing in it as they cross the line. Jason Mayer over Derek Lovegrove, Cole Buchan and Jared Eccleston there, 8 and 9, and Steve Darren rounding out our top 10. Bill Kilger still respectively finishing the race in P11. Yeah, I know he'll be a wee bit gutted with some of the events of the night, but it's racing, things happen. Ross Watson, guess he's happy, or just really happy that the racing's over.
And look at all those people that have turned out to watch us tonight.
Yeah, stunning numbers. And yeah, a big thank you to our SuperCars NZ community, not long rolling over 1,200th online members. So that's certainly coming along in bounds and strides. We appreciate all of you guys being there. Make sure you jump onto the Broadcasting Lounge on Facebook, on YouTube, and give our page a like and subscribe there, so you can hear more of the awesome racing that we broadcast during the week. And yeah, Sparko Gaming, awesome to have those guys this season backing us. If you're after some gloves and hats and water socks, shoes, racing apparel, go and hit up the guys at Allports Gaming for your Sparko Gaming needs. Big shout out to iRacing, because we certainly wouldn't be here without this great platform that we run on. And thank you once again to you, Shane, for joining me up here in the Broadcasting Lounge this evening and watching some awesome V8 racing.
Thanks for having me, Doug. Always a pleasure to be here.
Feel free to tune in on Thursday night as those other guys head upstairs to commentate on the GT3 racing. You can catch Wayne and Sean doing their thing. As do you know where we're heading on Thursday night for the GT3s?
We're heading to Road America for that one, so that should be an interesting race there.
Well, that sounds like it could be a thing to do. I don't know if I'm actually going to be there though. I might have to join into the Broadcasting Lounge and commentate on the other DSA car as it goes around and cut some circles. But special event on this weekend, Nürburgring 24 hour. You'll be able to catch Shane and I doing some laps there. There'll be a stream up through the SuperCars community page from the Sylvan page. Make sure you give that one a like and follow as well, and tune in during the daytime to see Shane and I do our thing. And if you're a weirdo and a freak, you can join at the night time and catch Mark and Daniel doing their thing. They're from the other side of the world, so they speak a wee bit funny.
Yeah, so we'll be kicking that off at around 10 AM on Saturday morning. I believe the race will kick off at about 20 to 11, and then obviously finishing up 24 hours later on Sunday morning. So you'll probably be able to tune in as you have your breakfast and catch the last few hours of the race there.
Yeah, so after everyone's done the good mummy's day thing and cooked their mum's breakfast in bed, you can go and sneak off to the lounge and put the broadcasting up on the big screen. Should be some entertainment there for sure. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure as always, and we will catch us later.